Hey everybody, this is Adam Blackstar, and I found this website today. It's called Questions for Atheists. It is a survey made by a Christian apologist for atheists. I guess the goal is to ask us questions that are supposed to be really hard and to trip me up in my logic and cause me to rethink why I'm an atheist. So I thought it might be fun to kind of go through these and answer them. Uh, I want to be relatively brief with my answers to get as many in as possible. And I might skip some of them if they get too boring. Looks like I was scrolling through it. There might be some that are kind of repetitive, so I might skip a few and stick to the more interesting ones. Um, and who knows? Maybe it's possible that we all might be converted to Christianity before I'm done with this video. I mean, stranger things have happened, maybe. Um, it's possible that I might make an error here, and if I do, feel free to leave a comment below correcting me. I have made a few videos and I've misspoken, and it's not unheard of that I might just make a logical error. I'm not infallible, and so if I make an error, oops, sorry, I'll correct it. So let's just jump right into the questions. Question number one: how would you define atheism? Keyword here I would take is you. So I'm not going to go with the typical a lack of belief definition. Not that that definition is wrong, it's just kind of a little bit clinical. For me, it sounds like something that I got out of a book or something that I've memorized and now I'm repeating. I prefer to say that I just do not believe in God. I do not believe in gods. It's the same thing as saying that I lack belief, but it's just in my own words. And there's no reason why we should hesitate to say that. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in vampires. I don't believe in Bigfoot. I don't believe in leprechauns or pixies or dragons or have I said unicorns yet? I don't believe in hobbits necessarily. Well, I kind of believe in hobbits a little bit. I don't believe in unicorns. So I just add God and gods to that list. And if someone has evidence of any of those things, they can certainly present me with that evidence, and I am open to changing my mind if there's a good reason to believe in any of those things. So I'm going to move right on to question number two, despite the fact that I could go on talking about question number one for probably another 5 minutes easily. But I'm going to move on. Question number two: do you act according to what you believe in or what you lack belief in? I am supposing that they are assuming that I answered question number one with a lack of belief. And so now they're swooping in with question number two and they're saying, but do you act according to what you believe in or what you lack belief in? It's supposed to kind of trip me up there, I'm guessing. It doesn't, though, because I do think that we act according to what we believe. The real question there is, are those beliefs justified or are they illogical? So sometimes what Christians like to do is they like to conflate justified belief with faith. They like to try to convince me that I have faith and that I use faith because I will sit down in a chair and trust that that chair is going to hold my weight, or that I will go to my refrigerator for food with faith there's going to be food in there. But that's just kind of ridiculous. Faith, I like Bible, not Roman, Bible, Hebrews 11:1 faith. I do not have that. That is faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, I think. That's an irrational way to approach belief. That's like basically saying that you're choosing to believe something because you want it to be true, regardless of lack of evidence. So no, that is not the same as justified belief. And when I go to the refrigerator to get food out of it, it's because I believe there's food in it. I don't know there's food in it, but I have a really good reason to think there is food in there. It may be because I remember going shopping the day before and putting food in the refrigerator. It may just be because the last time I opened it, there was food in there. But I don't know that there's food in there because I can't see the food until I open the door. It's possible, since the last time I was in the refrigerator, that somebody went in there and took out all the food. It's also possible that I'm simply misremembering that I forgot to put any food in the refrigerator. But I nonetheless have a justified reason to think that there's food in the refrigerator. I'm not in any sense going to the refrigerator trying to convince myself that there's food in there, or hoping so hard that there's food in there that I have somehow convinced myself that there's food. So yes, I believe that we act according to what we believe. And I think that more than not, our beliefs are, we like for them to be justified. And that goes for atheists and believers both. Moving on to question number 3. And I apologize, I'm having allergy issues tonight, so once again, I probably sound a little bit nasally. Question number 3, do you think it's inconsistent for someone who lacks belief in God? Once again, they are assuming that that's how I answer that question. Do you think it's inconsistent for someone who lacks belief in God to work against God's existence by attempting to show that God doesn't exist? Well, that's kind of a loaded question right there. Because they are asking me if it's inconsistent for me to work against God's existence. Well, I don't believe there is a God, so therefore, how can I be consciously working against his existence? The question is, do I think it's inconsistent to go out and to try to change people's minds in their beliefs about God? And no, I do not think it's inconsistent. No more than I think it's inconsistent if you have a political opinion to go out and try to convince people with differing opinions that you're right. You want to bring people over to your side because you think your position is the right one, that it's the logical one, that it's the compassionate one. And you want other people to see that because you think that the more people that you can get supporting this position, the better off the world will be. Likewise, people like atheists, we go out there and we try to show people how their beliefs are logically inconsistent. We try to poke holes in their faith because we believe that their faith is harmful to them and that it's also harmful to their families and to the whole world. So of course we're going to go out there and try to show them that. As I said in my last video, when we lose our faith, it's not as if we wake up in this new world where there's no more religion. We still live in the same world, and we become more conscious probably of just how deeply rooted we are in these irrational beliefs. So that's the world that we live in. So of course we care about that world. Of course we're going to go out there and we're going to try to make people see the light, so to speak. Question number 4, why am I an atheist? I really already answered that in question number 1, I think. Question number 5, how sure are you that atheism is the proper position to hold? Well, if I wasn't pretty sure, I wouldn't be holding this position. The thing I'm most interested in is believing things that are true. If I don't think those things are true, I'm not going to choose to believe in them. This is not, to me, about my comfort. It's not about, I believe that it's in my best interest to believe things that are true. So, regardless of how uncomfortable that might be, I am going to adjust my position to reflect what I believe to be true. So how sure am I that atheism is the proper position to hold? Given that I hold that position, I'm very sure. 6, on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 is weak, 5 is strong, how sure are you that God does not exist? I don't know. I don't really think about that. I don't think about how sure am I that God doesn't exist. I think about how good is the evidence that God does exist. It's not very good. I think about how many good reasons do I have to believe in something. And if I can't find any good reasons to believe in that, I don't believe in it. So it's not a matter of me sitting around and everything, picking out a number to determine how confident I am. It's just a matter of, does this claim meet the standard of intelligibility? Does it meet the standard of, does it meet any sort of standard of evidence? If it doesn't meet the standard, then there's no reason to hold that belief. 7, why do you believe your atheism is a justifiable position to hold? It's kind of repetitive. I think I've already answered that. Question 8, do you affirm or deny that atheism is a worldview? A worldview is a set of unproven beliefs and or assumption that a person uses when interpreting the world around him. Do you affirm or deny that atheism is a worldview? No, it is not a worldview. I do not believe it's a worldview. Because it's simply to say that I don't believe this thing because there are no good logical reasons to believe this thing. We actually don't form our beliefs based on what we don't believe in. We form our beliefs, as I think I answered in question number 3. Our beliefs are based on what we do believe in. Unfortunately, sometimes it looks like maybe our beliefs are based on what we don't believe in because it's spun that way by the people that hold those beliefs. Because it seems more like, because we are in the minority, it seems more like we are reacting to believers rather than actually acting based upon our own convictions. That's what I believed when I was a Christian. I believed that atheists were just out there and they were just anti-Christian and just whatever Christians believed in, atheists believed the opposite because their goal was just to tear down religion. But that's not true at all. So no, I do not believe that atheism is a worldview. Atheism is one, it's one position, and that position is a position on a God claim. In rejecting that God claim, it says nothing else about any aspect of that person. There are conservative atheists, there are liberal atheists, there are libertarian atheists. There are atheists from all different sorts of political persuasions. So I'm not sure if it is a worldview, then there is no agreement on, it can't be a worldview in my mind. Question 9, what is your opinion of the Bible? Okay, there's several choices, and I guess I kind of have to decide which one of those choices I like best. Well, no, I guess I don't. What is my opinion of the Bible? I think that what is my opinion of the Bible? I see no reason to believe in the claims of the Bible. As far as my opinion of it, I think it's a book that human beings wrote. We don't know necessarily who those human beings are. They made a lot of claims. They tried to, one of those claims was that everything they wrote was inspired by this God called Yahweh. But again, to believe the Bible is to just put all of your confidence in those people, because ultimately you're not believing the claims of a God, you're believing the claims of those people. Because you have to believe the claim of those people, that the claim specifically that their words are the words of a God, before you can even see those as the words of a God. So there are too many hurdles to jump over for me to put that much confidence in that book. So I'm not sure that that really answers the question that well, but that is my answer in the interest of brevity. Question 10, and this might be the last question that I answer in this video. What is your opinion of Jesus? And there are several choices, but I'm just going to answer this without choosing one of them. My opinion of Jesus. Well, we're not really sure that Jesus really existed. Not certainly the Jesus of the Gospels. We don't know whether he did or not. There is reason to believe that there were many different Messiah figures who were all running around at that same time making these claims to be the Messiah. In fact, I think there were multiple individuals who were called Jesus or Jehoshua or whatever the actual name was that Jesus is just an alliteration of. If there was a Jesus, and if the Gospels are actually based on one guy, instead of just being an amalgamation of different legendary characters, there's no reason in my mind to leap to the conclusion that he actually did any of the acts that are recorded in the Gospels. And I'm talking specifically about turning water into wine and breaking up all the loaves and fishes to feed the 5,000 and all the other miraculous things he did, including rising from the dead. There's just no reason to believe in those things. I did not come to that belief by being convinced that it was true and rational. I came to that belief through indoctrination. So if there's a better reason to believe in those things, fine. Most of the arguments I see are just not very good arguments. They talk about how, if Jesus wasn't real, why would so many people have died in his name? Well, we see people to this day dying in the name of Muhammad. So that's just not a very convincing argument to me. I've heard for my whole life that Jesus is about to come back, and I yet to see Jesus. Of course, that doesn't mean that Jesus won't come back. It just means that people have been saying for thousands of years that Jesus is about to come back, and Jesus hasn't come back. Of course, it may be that I've just fallen into the devil's trap, and that Jesus is about to come back when I least expect it. because the Bible does say that he will come like a thief in the night or something like that, when we're least expecting him to come. And I'm assuming they chose that time specifically for people like me, so that when they send me to hell, that I will have no excuse. So that's 10 questions. It's a nice round number. I think I'm going to cut it right there. You guys can let me know what you think, if you would like for me to answer more questions, or if you would like for me to answer any particular question in more depth, or if you would just like for me to not do this anymore ever again. See, there's so many options here. So anyway, thanks for watching and subscribe. I'm on Facebook at Adam Blackstar, and I am on Twitter at Adam Blackstar. So thanks.